What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Phil Burnell, aka DarkSydePhil here. There's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. They're saying you spent $140,000 on a wrestling mobile game. Once that happened, I knew things were going bad. They're rich. I'm not. I quit all mobile games. I don't. Contributions are kind of slow today. I don't know why. Why am I toxic?
A bank would begin foreclosing on DSP's Connecticut condo in November of 2019. It would be revealed that he still owed over $100,000 on the property, even though he had owned it for almost 10 years at this point. Surprisingly, DSP would not address this topic and remain silent on it, but it would become obvious that DSP was getting more and more desperate for money. With this desperation, he would find new ways to monetize his streams. In Pokemon, a game where you can capture and name monsters, he would begin selling the ability to name these monsters to the highest bidder. Whenever the highest bidder was a low amount, he would constantly remind his audience about naming the Pokemon, trying to pressure them into donating more money.
Thanks so far. The stream's been great. Your interactivity's been great. I had a lot of fun. Contributions are kind of slow today. I don't know why. I don't know if they're going to pick up the end of the stream as people want to become the top contributor or not. Right now, the top contributor is still Rob. So if nothing changes, Rob will be naming another Pokemon. He already named our girder Pennywise. We'll see what happens, okay? Let's take a look. Okay, so we got 45 minutes left, everyone on the stream. FYI, Rob is still the top contributor, so if no one tops him by the end of the stream, he's still going to get to name a Pokemon. FYI, everybody. About half an hour left on the stream, everybody. Half an hour for someone to top Rob's tip. So thank you very much so far, everyone who has hung out with me, who did contribute. I don't know why contributions are so low. Like, top contribution so far is a 500-bit cheer. That's, like, ridiculously low compared to normal streaming. So far, two more kings in the lead. Whoever is the top contributor by the end of today's stream will get a Pokemon named in their honor. So we'll see what happens. But let's take about a 20-25 minute break.
This phenomenon wouldn't be exclusive to just Pokemon. He would do it in other games such as Minecraft, where he would accept the highest bidder's request to build something.
Down here, we've got a tax office, which I know sounds weird, but that was one of the things that a top contributor requested me do, is build a tax office. Then we've got a 2-floor...
These tactics would be very effective. He would even mention that his life would be better as long as these tips at this amount would keep coming in.
Everybody Atomic here said, if we continue these supported streams all year, your fortune will definitely change. I mean, yeah, if I could have this kind of support all the time, yeah, it would be absolutely amazing. So, we'll see how stuff goes.
Despite these tactics, he would still need to do fundraisers, asking for $2,000 in donations. Even though he has these successful fundraisers, he would go back the very next day asking for $100 per stream as his tips goal. Even though DSP was receiving all this money, things never seemed to get better for him. Someone would begin questioning DSP if this was a spending issue, and he would immediately insult them.
He's trying to get into personal information about me and my taxes. Alright, it's this simple. I'll say this as a matter of fact as possible. I was going to save this for tomorrow when I set up the tips goal. Here, why don't I pay my taxes slowly over the year? I can't afford it. That's why. I don't have the money for it. I'm in dire financial straits. I've been telling you guys about this for, over a year. Financially, my life sucks ass. I don't have disposable income. All of my money goes towards debts. So if I had the money to pay taxes slowly over the year, I would. But I'm barely making ends meet as it is. I'm barely paying the bills. Some bills are going unpaid and being overdue. I'm getting overdrafted in my bank account every month. I'm getting tons of late fees every month. I am in bad positioning financially. Don't you think that if I had the money to pay taxes slowly over the year, I would? Yes. Can I? No. This is pretty much common sense if you have common sense. If you don't, and you're an idiot, you keep asking the same fucking questions all year. So allow me to put it to you in a layman's terms. I'm financially fucked, all right? I'm trying to unfuck myself, but it's not an easy process that could happen overnight. It's a thing that takes a lot of time. If you don't understand that, you're probably a child who has never had any kind of financial responsibility in your life, and it's not your place to question why I can't pay my taxes slowly over the year. In fact, if you really are that nosy, why don't you go fuck yourself? All right, there you go. So thanks for the 100-bit cheer, Cultured Warrior, and the incredibly stupid, nosy, dumb fuck question. All right. And then Cultured Warrior did another 100-bit cheer. Said, oh, I'm new here. It sounds like a spending-earning ratio problem. No, it's a stupidity problem on your behalf for asking personal information and, assuming that it's your business to ask me to get into my fucking business and ask me about that. Don't you think it's personally insulting to ask someone why they don't pay their taxes slowly over a year? Don't you think I would love to, But again, It's just immaturity on your part. You're a dumbass.
WWE Champions is a mobile game where people can spend money to get boosted in the game to do better. It would be discovered that there was a user going by the name of They Call Me DSP. This also happens to be DarkSydePhil's online handle, They Call Me DSP. The obvious connection would be that DSP was playing a highly addictive mobile game and spending money on it. Detractors familiar with the game would estimate that he had spent $30,000 on it to level up his profile. The speculation wouldn't end here, and detractors would begin investigating to make 100% sure that this was DarkSydePhil. They would find out that this user also went by They Call Me DSP on Discord. The Discord user could have been a fake just going by They Call Me DSP as an attempt to frame the real Phil. Detractors would begin matching the times Phil is online on Twitter and the times he's on that Discord going by the same name. They would even start matching the Discord user's manner of speech to how Phil speaks on his Twitter account. They would run all of this through linguistic software, matching the Discord user's manner of speak to DarkSydePhil's public profile with a 98% match. With the mounting evidence, detractors were convinced that DSP had burned through all his money playing WWE Champions. Shortly after this discovery of WWE Champions, DSP in mid-January of 2020 would go on stream to discuss his finances. He would say he had met with a lawyer to discover that he was insolvent and must declare bankruptcy.
Because there's nothing we can do about it. You have to do it. You have to make a change. And you shouldn't be embarrassed when in life you're defeated in a certain way and you have to make some kind of a change in order to fix it. Because, this is a big loss for me, a big fail for me that I have to do something now that I don't want to do. I never wanted to do in my life, but I have to. But basically, eventually, I sat down and I saw a lawyer and talked to the lawyer. And the lawyer said, with your situation, there's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. Like, there's no way. How are you going to get out of not only owing all this debt that you have behind the scenes through credit cards and loans, but now you've got a home that you can't pay for and they're going to foreclose on you. Chances are they're going to sue you.
DSP wanted to be clear that just because he's declaring bankruptcy doesn't mean he doesn't need any more money. If anything, he needed more contributions now than ever. He would go on to explain that people shouldn't listen to anyone else about his bankruptcy, and as long as contributions keep up, he may be in a better place by mid-2020 so he could do something positive for his stream.
That's going to be my life for the next 10 years, And it's funny because idiots, will spin stuff, Idiots will spin stuff that in regards to, what's going on with this, they'll say, well, if Phil declares bankruptcy, that means he doesn't owe anything to anyone. So, see, Phil won't need any more contributions on streams, and Phil won't need any support from his fans any longer. If he says that he needs help, he's lying to you. That is 100% ignorance about how bankruptcy works. It's actually completely the opposite situation. I need your support more than ever before, because whatever I make, it has to go towards the direct bills, taxes. I owe a ton of back taxes right now. This month, I'm trying to make a payment to catch up on state taxes. And then I have to figure out how the hell do I pay my federal taxes that I did not pay last year again. And chances are, I would almost guarantee they're probably not going to put me on another payment plan. I would think they might put a lien on my house, or they might do so. I don't know what they're going to do. It's a bad situation. And even with the bankruptcy going through, I'm not clear because of tax situation. I'm behind on everything. I need to catch up on everything that I'm behind on before I can even consider, I'm square, Now, again, I strongly urge all of you, moving forward, stop fucking listening to the nonsense from the people who spin it in a way that it's not true. Because I'm filing for bankruptcy, or I have filed for bankruptcy, doesn't mean that I now have unlimited fun. I have no debts and unlimited funds, and I'm good. What needs to happen? I need to basically get the same kind of support I've been getting on streams or better, and then what I can do is work on putting that money towards the right stuff, like getting out of the debt that I'm in with these taxes, getting these taxes paid to the point where I can pay my taxes properly every month, like I'm supposed to be doing, and basically getting back on track. The good news here is, if this works out the way that the bankruptcy attorney is explaining to me, by the middle to late 2020, I should be able to get back on track, hopefully start getting caught up with the taxes, and then instead of it always being, oh my God, now I'm overdrawn or this and that, everything's okay in that regard. And, you know, maybe even start turning stuff around in a positive way, you know? People always ask, can you upgrade your equipment? Can you do this or that? No, there's no fucking way I could do that now. But give it a year. If all the debts are wiped out and I'm back, I'm caught up on my taxes and everything's good, things could potentially get better again, you know? And then when we do a special stream and I raise a bunch of money out of nowhere, wow, I could put that towards something positive on the streams rather than, wow, that has to go pay a back debtor that I've owed for months. Oh.
The biggest question would be about WWE Champions and about disproving all the rumors about him spending all that money on a mobile game. People would ask questions about WWE Champions and offer different ways DSP could prove his innocence, but DSP would insult them, find excuses, and avoid the question.
Here's a stupid one. Snooty Roo did a 100-bit cheer, but can't you just log into your WWE game account and hold your phone up to the camera and disprove detractors? Oh my God. Boy, people don't listen, but this is the thing. Real gullible, stupid, simple-minded people think it's that easy. Let's say right now, all right, first of all, I logged into my old-ass game account from WWE Supercard from years ago that I've admitted that's a game that I played a lot for about 2 years, and I held it up to the camera, all right? It wouldn't matter what it showed. It literally wouldn't matter what it showed. They would find a way to spin that into a negative. They would find that would be a negative, okay? Now, that's the thing, at this point, I can't even figure out what the meme is because people now tell me it could be this one WWE game that I played years ago or a WWE game that I played for a few months, a couple of years ago. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about anymore because I don't follow the shit and I'm so confused in my head. This guy says Supercard, someone else says it's another game. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about anymore because even you idiots can't get your shit straight, so I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't care. I'm not gonna waste fucking time holding phones up and showing you shit. You're out of your fucking mind. In addition, like I said, chances are, what would happen? I hold it up. Oh God, there was something on the screen now that's more personal information that got out that they can use against me. Fuck this. And fuck you for even bringing that shit up. How about that? Who's Kid did 100-bit cheers. All you gotta do is show your username is and bam, the detractors are defeated and make them even less credible. Wrong. Okay, I'm going to say one quick thing about this, and then we're going to take a break, and we're going to move on to the next segment. As I said, any little bit of information that I give you guys will be used against me. Perfect example here. Let's say I bring up a mobile game, and I show you my name in the game. That name that's in the game, people will immediately scour the fucking internet for anywhere that name's been used, try to find old accounts of mine, try to find other things that maybe could or could not be me because of that name. The truth of the matter is that when I play mobile games, a lot of the times I don't use my real name or my online personas. Reason being, I did do that a while ago and people then were doing stuff to me. I never talk about this because I know it's fucked up. There were 2 times with previous mobile games way back when I was playing them that people tried to hack the accounts. People tried to pretend that they were me. They impersonated me and actually were contacting like the customer support of the companies saying, oh, I'm DarkSydePhil and here's my information and I want control of this account. And one time I actually got locked out of my account because of it, okay? So the last thing I would ever want to do is show you any information about any account that I've ever used ever, all right? A few years ago, an old password of mine that I used to use for very old things leaked on the internet. People went across the entire internet and found all this shit out. They started logging into my old utility accounts and tried to shut off my power. They tried to send a $2,000 payment to my city here that I didn't owe them just to empty my bank account and fuck me over financially just because they found an old password somewhere that happened to be attached to a few legacy accounts that I hadn't used in years. Now, if I show you a login that I've used in a mobile game that has been used for other things, people will immediately scour the internet to find. See what I mean? This is what happens. It's just the slippery slope that creates more and more and more negative shit. There's no point in me trying to disprove anything these dickheads say because none of it's true and they have no fucking concrete evidence of any of it because it's false. So why would I waste my fucking time on any of it? If you get caught up in that stupid, immature crap, you need to look yourself in the mirror and be like, Why the fuck do I care about any of this shit? Why am I believing every month or every week there's a new thing about Phil that's completely ludicrous? Why the fuck am I believing all of this? Why am I such a drama hound person who gets caught up in this fucking nonsense? And why do I even find it funny? You know, maybe the first few times, but the 102nd time that you hear something ludicrous about me, you have to finally look and say, maybe there's something wrong here, and maybe I'm an idiot that I believe all this dumb fuck shit. And like I said, I can't spend time worrying about any of this shit. It's not true. I'm not going to waste my fucking time on any of it. To show you one thing will just spurn 10 more negative things about me. There's no fucking point in any of it. And people who are all infatuated with that shit need fucking help. Okay?
The questions would erroneously state that he had spent $140,000 when $40,000 was the more accurate estimate at the time. He would use this one example to point out how ridiculous the claims are.
See, here you go. They're saying you spent $140,000 on a wrestling mobile game. $140,000. What the fuck? The best part about this is that when they started, it was like 3 or 4 days ago, and it was like $10,000. Then people started saying 20, then 40. Now it's apparently $140,000.
He would even insist that he doesn't play mobile games anymore because he's a married man.
And by the way, I quit all of that stuff when Kat moved in 2018. I quit all mobile games. I don't play them anymore. I got rid of them. I said I'd rather focus time on important stuff with my family and stuff. I don't waste time. I keep telling you guys this. Mobile games are money sinks. You'll put money into it, you put time into it and money into it, and you don't get anything really out of it unless you're constantly keep playing and sinking more money into it. That's the truth of the matter. Now, these idiots want me to show you my accounts and everything. How the fuck am I going to do that? So I show you on my screen, oh, that's not your account, that's someone else's. Or I show you on my screen, oh, look, that's a name we didn't know. Now let's go scour the internet for other times Phil used that fucking name and other things so we can find other accounts that he's done and hack other accounts and get more personal information. Fuck you. All right? I've had enough of this shit. I seriously am tired. Every little fucking thing in my life being micro-analyzed by a bunch of no-life, worthless, disgusting, toxic, do-nothing ne'er-do-wells who will never, ever have a shred of fucking positivity in their lives. They live in their fucking Paris basements, they hide from real life, and they do this shit anonymously on the internet because they can get away with it. If they didn't get away with it in real life, they would all hide like the cowards they fucking are. No. Fuck off. Stop fucking with me and every little thing that I say and do and twisting it into something it's not. Stop trying to take information from 3-4 years ago and turn it into something now that it's not to ruin me. I'm tired of this shit. Really, it gets to the point where I get so fucking frustrated and it just is pent up pain inside of me because any little thing that I say and do on a stream can be construed into something that it's not, or that something nasty can be made out of something that I did innocently years ago, and now you're gonna somehow try to fuck with me, and I know, because I know, but all this other shit, I'm so fucking tired of hearing it, I really am. I'm just done with it. I'm done addressing it. I'm done fucking putting up with it. Enough is fucking enough. My life has been systematically fucked up year after year by people fucking with me. I can't get sponsorships. I can't get all the same opportunities every other full-time streamer gets because of you pieces of fucking shit trying to ruin my life. Fuck you. I'm done putting up with your shit. I'm not entertaining for a single moment any more of your stupid bullshit. You could say anything you fucking want. I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. Okay. I guess that's going to be it, guys.
As to why DSP was going bankrupt, he would blame YouTube, detractors, and his dead aunt for his financial troubles.
In 2015, out of nowhere, I lost a ton of my revenue on YouTube because the trolls fucked with my channel with false copyright strikes. I was forced to remove a bunch of videos, which reduced my channel's views by some million. I think it was like 3 million views had to be deleted because I had to delete all the pre-stream videos on my channel. When I did that, YouTube removed DSPgaming from search rankings, and from then on, it was just nothing but a downward trend. My whole YouTube presence was completely dwindled because of this malicious attack against me in 2015. There are many other factors also that factor in, but that was the one definitive factor that financially, that was the beginning of the screw job for me. Like, that was it. Once that happened, I knew things were going bad because I had overspent when I had moved out here. And now my income that I was depending on to pay off all these debts that I had incurred had gone away. Some of which I've touched upon. But one of the horrible things that happened was that my aunt, who had been living at my condo in Connecticut for about 2 years after I moved there, passed away unexpectedly. We didn't expect that was going to happen. I mean, she was elderly, but she wasn't to the point where we thought she was just going to pass away out of nowhere, and she did. So that was someone who was living there and was giving me a little bit of income, basically, for that condo. And now I had nothing, zero, okay? That I way overspent in the past and was hoping that I'd be able to pay it off moving forward, and it didn't happen because of the troll activity and, you know, my aunt passing away and losing so much income as a result of those two major factors, okay? And then I find out that my tax attorney back in Connecticut screwed me over and did my taxes wrong for 3 straight years, and now I owed thousands of dollars to the state of Washington for a business and occupation tax that I didn't even know existed since the time that I had lived here. And that's just like one of the things. You might say, well, what happened with YouTube? I have no idea. I didn't change my format. In fact, I made longer videos so that you guys would basically stop complaining that the videos were so short and they'd be more digestible for you. And it wasn't like this dip of income happened during the time frame when I changed the length of videos. On the contrary, I changed the length of my videos in the middle of 2018. I didn't see a big dip in YouTube revenue until the early 2019. So something happened behind the scenes at YouTube, not with me, and that screwed me over, okay? Never happened. I was hoping that eventually things would get a little bit better because I was being seen in a more positive light in general on the internet, that I would have some sponsorship opportunities open up for me, whether it would have been products, whether it would have been play a game and do a sponsored stream on Twitch again. None of that happened. I'm still 100% banned from the whole sponsored stream program on Twitch. I'm still not allowed to get any sponsorship opportunities whatsoever. Whenever a sponsor comes by, I explain to them, here's the situation. I have a group of trolls that harass the shit out of me. And chances are, if we have a sponsorship, they're going to harass you. They usually will do some research, look into it, and say, we don't want to touch your trolls with a 40-foot pole. And they turn me down for a sponsorship.
DSP's bankruptcy would be immediately mocked and brought much joy to the detractors watching him. During a WWE event, someone would hold up a sign saying DSP is bankrupt, potentially hoping that DSP would see this when he would watch wrestling. They would also hold up another sign saying, "It's the guy," referring to a detractor meme. In January of 2020, 2 tragedies would happen. Kobe Bryant, an iconic basketball player, would tragically die in a helicopter crash. On the very same day, DSP's save of Knights of the Old Republic would corrupt, losing him 20 minutes of progress.
This blows. Today's just a bad day. Kobe Bryant passes away in a tragic helicopter crash. My saves get corrupted and deleted from friggin' Knights. What else could happen? I hope nothing else. I hope that's it. Seriously. That's gotta be it, man. We gotta cheer up. We gotta have a good day. This is not good. We gotta have better than this, dude. I'm insensitive? How am I insensitive? What? I'm upset because horrible things are happening today. Obviously, Kobe Bryant passing away is way more horrible than me losing my game save. There's people being stupid. Let's equate someone's death to Phil losing his game save. I never said that, you fucking idiot, but you know, that's what morons will do. Make shit up, put shit into my mouth. That'll be the headline on the video on YouTube today. Phil equates Kobe's passing with his game save corrupting. Fuck off, piece of shit. Suck my ass. Suck a turd right out of my butt. How about that? Suck it. Suck the turds. Fuck you. It's just like piling shit on shit. You know? You hear something awful, okay, let's play a game to forget about it. Oh, look, the game's fucked up too. It's like, what's next?
At the very end of January 2020, DSP's bankruptcy filing would become public. The filing would reveal that Phil was almost $500,000 in debt. Over $131,000 of this debt would be due to credit cards and loans. It would be confirmed that DSP had at least 13 credit cards and loans with a minimum payment estimate of $2,600. There would also be inconsistencies with DSP's filing. On the bankruptcy filing, he would claim that he has no pets. Curiously, he would then claim $100 a month on pet expenses. Also, just about 6 to 7 months ago, he had revealed Jasper the cat to his audience for $1,000. DSP would claim he had no personal electronics even though he was watching wrestling in his personal time and his wife was playing video games. He would also claim that he has no collectibles, but in his announcement of his bankruptcy, he would say he had statues.
So, the truth of the matter is that chances are, if this does go through, I'm going to lose a lot of the stuff in the house that I don't need. For example, you know all those statues and shit that I've got in the storage nook? I give all that up. I say, this might be worth something if you sell it. I don't need it. It's not something I actively use. You know, it's not an appliance that I need to live. Here's a bunch of shit that I don't need. Take it. You know, take all this junk that's been sitting around that I haven't been able to sell for years. Please, by all means. And the thing is, there's not much in my house that they could do. Most of the stuff that's valuable is in this office for the business. That's protected under bankruptcy filing. It's really...
One of the biggest red flags were his business expenses. He would somehow be claiming that he had $5,000 in business expenses even though streaming was a relatively low-cost business. It was highly unlikely DSP was spending this amount of money on new games and new consoles every single month. Even adding in other utilities such as internet and electricity, it would be unlikely it would add up to be $5,000, especially $9,000 in July. The speculation was that he was writing microtransactions for WWE Champions off as a business expense. In February, DSP would go on a rant about how he's a victim of meme mentality.
What I think it is I think sadly a lot of people are very impressionable. Okay? I do. I think that in the modern society, young people are very, very, very impressionable. And it's very easy for them to fall in line with a common mentality or a common thought. That's what memes are at their core when you really think about it, right? A common recognition of something that everyone recognizes and knows what it is. And then you can say, yeah, I know that meme. Ha ha ha. That's why it's funny. Not the meme itself isn't funny. The fact that you know the meme and you can recognize and acknowledge the meme is somehow like a funny thing, or you get a feeling of recognition out of it, right? So I think that some people are just way too impressionable and fall into these weird circles of hate and circles of drama and circles of just stupid, immature shit. When a guy like me, I'm old enough that I don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't ever want to have anything to do with that. But I get sucked in because that's what my viewers are doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, but there was a kid who was a fan of mine back in the day. And he actually met me in real life. We spent some time together. We hung out at one of the conventions that I had attended. And you know, I signed some of his stuff. He was a really nice kid. Now, he was younger. I would say probably he was in his teens, maybe early 20s, but I think he was in his teens when I met him. Okay? And really nice kid. I love your content. You know, I love everything you do on YouTube or whatever. Genuinely a fan and everything. Okay? Now, after that convention, that kid went home and said, you know, I'd like, you know, could I maybe moderate for you? And he actually moderated for me for a while and did some stuff, you know, as a volunteer for a little bit, which was very nice of him, okay, out of his, the kindness of his own heart or whatever, okay. I haven't heard from this kid in years. Basically, he was a mod of mine. He kind of vanished, disappeared. For like over 2 years, I never heard a word, a peep out of this kid. So I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he's, you know, how he's doing or whatever. No clue, right? I don't know. All I know is that, you know, the only interaction I ever had with this guy was a very positive one at a convention years and years ago. Probably, I would say at this point, thinking back, probably about 7, 8 years ago. All right. So years later, all right, all of a sudden, I find out this kid hates my guts. Now, keep in mind, I haven't had any interaction with this kid since I met him in person, and he offered later on to be a moderator for me, and he had been an on or off moderator for me, and then he disappeared. So we're talking 2, 3 years later since I never heard from this kid. He apparently hates my guts. He apparently he talks about me on social media all the time, riffing on me, making fun of me, insulting me and my family, and he's regular in detractor circles and all that. And I'm like, so what happened? Because here's the thing: did I have anything to do with it? No, I don't even know what happened. I had lost contact with the kid. The kid has stopped coming to my stream, stopped watching my content. A guy, and people always had my back. It's like all of a sudden, somehow it just mob mentality, right? This weird kind of getting caught up in these viral movements. Now just hate on Phil. It's like, but why? Why really? And that's the funny thing that I've always noticed is when you really ask people why don't they like me, there's no quick consensus. It's the generic meme shit. Oh, he's a scammer. Oh, he did this horrible thing. He insults his fans. Like, but wait a minute. Can you actually call out like definitive segments of things that there's proof of what you're saying? And they'll just bring up the conspiracy theories. They'll bring up the shit that the detractors say. None of that is true, you know. But this is the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, they won't ever have evidence. They won't ever be able to say, oh, here's a video. Well, that video is a detractor saying that I was being bad and then taking an out-of-reference clip that doesn't actually prove anything. But that's their evidence, and in their mind, it just becomes this mob mentality. This is true. And it seems like that's what happened on the internet with me. Was it wasn't anything that I 100% ever said or did that completely turned everyone on me. It was that This Is How You Don't Play became popular on YouTube, and it became the popular thing to make fun of me by any means necessary to get a laugh or to get popularity, and everyone moved along with this movement, right? Like, I hate to say it again, there's other streamers who people regularly tell me, oh, I can reference this thing the streamer did that's absolutely ludicrous, over the top, that's why everyone hates that streamer. Okay, but what about me? Oh, well, it's just the usual things. You're a scammer, you're this or that. I'm like, yeah, but where's the evidence? There's no evidence because none of it's fucking true. The things that people hate me for are untrue. It would be one thing if you say, okay, I hate Phil because back in the day, he used to do over-the-top sexual references that were sexist, and I feel that that's very immature. Fine, I haven't done that in 3 or 4 years, so what's your rationale now? Right? Oh, well, he's a scammer. Well, there's everything that everyone said that I was a scammer was based on the premise that somehow I was lying about money, and I actually had a ton of money, and I was just greedy and I needed more. Well, now you've seen my financials. You see how bad and what dire straits I'm in, and then I'm actually in insane debt, and all of everything that I've said over the years has been true. So what's your rationale now? See what I mean? But this is the thing. Whenever people say they don't like DarkSydePhil, they bring up these generalized things, then you call them out and say, well, what's your evidence or what's your proof of what you're saying? Because it sounds like bullshit. And then they move the goalpost to the next thing, to the next thing. Because in reality, these people don't dislike me. In reality, these people like the idea of disliking me. They don't genuinely hate me. They actually want to be a part of this movement where everyone hates me together so that they can feel like a piece of something that's a big movement. It's the right thing, the cool thing, the funny thing to do to hate on DarkSydePhil rather than actually having a legit reason to hate on DarkSydePhil. You see? Or else how could you have someone like this kid who was a fan of mine, a genuine fan, years later with no contact with this kid, now he hates me? It's like, what? Does it even make any logical sense? Of course not. A logical mind doesn't act like that. A logical mind is very analytical. You want evidence. You want proof. You don't believe every conspiracy. You don't jump on every funny viral video to make fun of someone. Instead, you give someone the benefit of the doubt. You give them a chance. You actually watch the content for face value. Instead of saying, oh man, Phil said that Kobe Bryant's death is the same as the game save corrupting, you're actually there for the stream where we had a really honorable discussion about the achievements of Kobe Bryant as a good person and the good things that he's done. And the fact that him passing away in the way that he did so early in his life was an incredible loss to humanity. And never did I ever compare the two as the same thing. But that's what I mean. Like, you actually have to believe that and not just say, oh, no, he just did it. I just believe it because I want to believe the negative about Phil. I don't think there's anything that I ever said or did that actually caused the hate against me. I think it was that viral movement of popularity on YouTube. It became the popular thing to hate Phil, and that's what it always is. It's never Phil keeps doing things to piss people off. It's people just keep fabricating things to make people feel justified in hating Phil because the movement continues, because people continue to get popularity from it. That's all I could think of, though. Like, because again, I'll admit in the past I made many mistakes. All the things I said and did, the racist jokes and insults to game developers and stuff. That hasn't happened in so long. I've outright come out and apologized a million times saying, man, I really know that the stuff that I did back then was wrong. You know? So what else do you want from me? Is it just that you're just never going to forgive me or believe that I've changed? So basically it doesn't ever matter if I ever improve. I'm always fucked, right? How is that fair? How is that giving anyone a real chance? How, you know what I mean? So because I made mistakes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, that's it? I'm just a laughingstock of the internet forever because you just fucking won't grow up and give me a chance and actually check this stuff out and see that I have changed, see that I haven't been lying to you about the horrible things that have been going on in my life behind the scenes because of those trolling and the fucked up things people have done to me over the years. Like, I've been truthful about all of that, but people just don't want to fucking believe it. And I can't make someone believe anything, especially now the facts are in front of their face and people are still saying that I'm a liar. It's like, there's nothing else I can do to prove anything to you. You know, everything is out there, everything is exposed, and, you know, there's no way I'm going to change any of this shit.
The ex-mod that DSP was referencing would come out to speak against him, claiming that he had left because of DSP's toxic personality.
Used to be a moderator of, and we're going to get into that, but I thought that I was completely separated from Phil, that there was no connection there between us anymore. I was a fan of DSP, and I was a fan of him for probably, I think, since 2008, 2009, and I was a bit of a fanboy. I was a young kid. I was impressionable. We all have been there. We all were either fans of him to begin with, or we were people that just didn't like him, but, you know, liked to see him fail. I was one of the people that genuinely liked him. And the thing that drives me nuts is that I was so blind to how he was acting because I was such a young kid, and I just saw this YouTuber who I was like, hey, I relate to him. He likes wrestling. I like wrestling. He likes this video game. I like this video game. And I basically became a fan. You know, the thing is that it wasn't your content that drove me away. It wasn't, you know, these allegations of all this different skeptical shit. It was your behavior towards the people that supported you and would ask you such basic questions, but then you got all skeptic on them and accused them of being toxic or, you know, trying to harass you. That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter, Phil. You're the problem, not the viewers. You don't know how to take criticism. You don't know how to take a joke, and you don't know how to deal with people. We basically were fine with that. But as soon as we woke up and realized how big of a piece of shit you were and how you mistreated your viewers, especially your girlfriend at the fucking time, Leanna, she was a cunt. Straight up cunt. Not gonna lie. I had private talks with her on Xbox Live. She was a cunt. No joke. But the thing is that when it came to you, you would go in these little chat groups and stuff and basically say, kick him out. Ban him. Ban this fucker from my chat. You were like Wings of Redemption. And it took me so long to wake up. And you know, the thing is that, yeah, I know that people are going to say, you were a moderator for him. You were a fan of him. Yeah, I was blind. I was blind at the time. I'll admit that. I made mistakes. And the funny thing is that I guarantee you, the community, the people that basically realize that I'm criticizing him now, and I explained, look, I was a mod. I was a fan. And they're like, yeah, we were all fans too. It happens. You at least woke up and realized that he's a big piece of shit.
But wait a minute.
That's the reason why I left. You insult your fans. You insult your fans. You insulted a guy for enjoying Meebos. $200 to show, $2,000 to show a cat. Exactly. You manipulated your audience to earn money. Now, okay, I disagree with the pedophile shit. I'm not going to talk on that. But yeah, he's a greedy fuck. He's a scumbag. He's a manipulator. But it was just crazy. And then when I hear about the cat and stuff, like, are you fucking serious? And I watched the whole stream. I didn't just watch clips. I watched the whole fucking stream. And the whole time he's like, oh, if we don't reach it, we're not going to do it. And then he goes on the corner and says, oh yeah, I was going to do it. Of course I was going to show the cat, dude. It's for content, dude. No, it was to manipulate your audience and to give you more donations. Let's be fucking honest. Brought up legitimate facts. Stuff that you've tried to hide from your audience, motherfucker. See this right here? You tried hiding that. You privated the fucking video, dude. Right there is the exact clip that really woke me up to your bullshit. It's like a record player. Where's the evidence? Where's your proof that I'm a scammer? Okay, the cat. Okay, the tax money, the money, the what was it? It wasn't Project 7. It was something else that he got, like, what, $5,000 or something like that? The wedding. There's been tons of proof. And why in the fuck should we believe you if you say otherwise? Whenever you go and you break every friendship you ever had, you break all the trust with your viewers, with your friends, and you backstab everyone.
Eventually, later in that month, DSP would continue to run additional fundraisers for $500 and $1,250. In March of 2020, DSP would have his hearing for his bankruptcy case. Over 50 detractors would join the call to listen in and record his responses. During the hearing, DSP would explain what he believes is a business expense, specifically microtransactions.
Hey, Mr. Burnell, you there?
I am present.
Yeah. Mr. Burnell, would you raise your right hand?
Yes.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Are you still self-employed?
Yes.
What is that self-employment?
The company's name is Burnell Productions. It is internet content creation of on-demand and also live video streaming services.
Okay. What is WWE Network?
Can you repeat that, please?
What is WWE Network?
WWE. Oh, WWE Network. That is just an on-demand video service for watching, professional wrestling. That is not business related.
Okay. What do you consider a business expense?
Anything relating, to the business per the instruction of my tax attorney. So it could be, the cost of a video game, the cost of a subscription for a video game, a microtransaction within a video game, cost of a piece of new equipment, maintenance on set equipment every month. It could be the internet, cost of internet every month. It could be cost of, utilities necessary for the business, cost of cell phone for the business. All those things would be included.
Please stop.
And basically anything related to my internet content creation, including, like I said, cost of video games, cost of subscription-based services, microtransactions within video games, cost of internet.
A detractor would call in posing as a creditor, questioning Phil about his business expenses, asking for an itemized list. This would lead to a tenuous moment in the hearing, and DSP would have difficulty responding to this questioning.
Reviewing your filing, it looks like you stated here that you have about $5,000 a month in business expenses. Can you itemize that for me?
Hold on. Legit. Wait, I don't need these.
Nancy, I'm not sure this person is for Citibank.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
I'm not sure. Are you?
I'm calling
really
I'm calling representing Citibank. Yes, Citibank. What are you talking about?
Right. Are you an attorney or what's your position at Citibank? Or this doesn't seem.
This seems like a sort of an attempt to back out of answering the very transparent question reviewing these files, which is that he has $5,000 a month in business expenses, which does not make any sense.
And collections at Citibank appear on a case, so this seems a little strange. We'll answer the questions, but
okay,
it just
great.
We've been answering the questions.
Hold on just a second. Where are you seeing $5,000 a month on business expenses?
He's listed over $5,000 a month on expenses, so he's got $5,000 a month in income, $5,000 a month in expenses, and basically the gross income that he's claiming that he's making is $35.
Okay, so
Wait,
you looked
I'm
at
sorry.
INJ.
I'm referring to his initial bankruptcy filing.
Okay.
Yes.
So where are the $5,000 a month in business expenses?
I think
I've already explained.
Let me back up a minute, because I think you might be looking at it a little bit wrong. And maybe if I could give you a little bit of clarification as to the way these forms are intended to be used, that might answer something, and then you can ask your question again.
Sure.
Schedule J asks him to list out various expenses he has. This is a personal bankruptcy. And so he's listed things like rent and food and utilities and clothing, things like that. As I'm seeing the schedule, that totals up to be about $5,000, a little bit, a little bit more than that. Is that the number that you're referring to as business expenses?
Yes. If that's claimed as personal expenses instead, I would still like to get an idea of how exactly he itemizes that. Because the amount of income that I'm seeing, he's claiming that it varies, but the time that he filed, it just happened to be during a very high spike in expenses, which doesn't really make any sense to me.
Okay, do you have the schedule? Who is this?
As long as we've established that he's realized that he was insolvent in October, that's really all I needed, so it's fine.
I mean, I don't want to cut your questions off. I'm just trying to make sure that you're understanding the forms the way they're intended.
Right, I understand. He's claiming that he's got $5,000 a month in expenses and only $5,000 a month in income, and nets about $35, which still doesn't really make any sense to me when he's claiming that he gets $1,000 from YouTube, $4,000 from Twitch. That's $5,000 right there. But then he's also claiming that he gets these donations or tips or whatever it is through his stream itself, which is separate from the service paying him for streaming.
Okay, I understand your question. Do you have a further explanation, Mr. Burnell?
I've already broken down how my expenses work. I don't know what this gentleman is referencing specifically. All the information is there, so I don't know exactly what he's looking for. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm just asking you to explain your expenses.
Which we've done.
So why are you asking again?
I do not see anywhere that adds up to $5,000 of expenses monthly, or that warrants paying extra money for video games and things post-October when you realize that you were insolvent.
Right, but what you're talking about is strictly related to Citibank purchases. If I'm understanding this correctly, you're wondering if there were any purchases after October on the Citibank cards, but you have access.
I'm asking about any cards, any lines of credit. I'm trying to figure out when he realized he was insolvent, if he continued making credit purchases after that time.
And he's already stated that he is not.
Okay, as long as that's on the record, great. Thank you.
That was on the record, yes, earlier.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Are there other creditors on the phone who want to ask questions?
In May, DSP's bankruptcy would be accepted to the surprise of many detractors. Over $130,000 of debt would be wiped away, and DSP's credit would be destroyed. This would reduce the amount of money DSP would have to pay month to month and reduce the financial pressure he was feeling. Even though this may appear as a victory for Phil, it would also be somewhat damaging to his reputation. Many would come out of this believing that Phil may have committed fraud by writing off microtransactions for WWE Champions as a business expense. It was a common held belief at this time that DSP was in fact addicted to this mobile game. While going through his bankruptcy, another notorious period of DSP history would begin, involving a vest streak. But the vest streak itself would deserve its own episode. As always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. And thank you to all my channel members supporting the channel. And a special shout out to Francisco Ramos Mejia.
Begging for fucking tips and shit on street. It's WWE Champions Time. I'm stupid. WWE game plays like Candy Crush. Moving